So let's see. What was the last one that I did? Because this is 2 days later. Okay. So I left off talking with her. And then now I think we have just 2 more to get, and then we'll be done with the game. So.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I would say, forget it, I'm not doing this.
Are you serious? No, you have to do it.
Why? Huh?
Focused on your goal, it should all be smooth sailing.
I think I would be down with going the route of the beast, but I don't know how to get to the beast, so we'll kind of see where it goes, because...
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Enough to stop me?
Either way, I'm dead.
She's convinced she can't die. But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
And oh, the razor.
You're on
I
a
don't want to
path
fight the
in
razor.
woods, and at the end of that...
I'll be honest, I don't want to fight the razor. Let's see what happens if I just die.
Oops.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
Oops, this is pretty... this baller. The razor again! Do I have to commit to the razor?
You're on
I
a
don't want to
path
commit
in
to the
woods,
razor.
And at the end of that path is a cabin.
I just don't like the razor because it's... I don't know, something about the razor I just don't like. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's so inhuman that I can't relate all that much. Okay, here we are, back again. Damn. I feel like I should just cut all that out. Okay. That's where I messed up. I didn't get the option because I went in armed. So I need to leave it behind.
The interior blade. You collapse on the ground, and the princess collapses beside you. Blood pools around you both, and you watch each other fade away.
Damn.
After all this time alone, I thought I'd finally found a friend, but you were just another monster, weren't you?
Silence as the room starts to get fuzzy around you. You've paid a terrible price, but you've saved us all. It's over.
If you think this is it, you're sorely mistaken. One way or another, I'll make sure you pay for this.
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Jesus Christ. Here's some brutal lines. The witch? Huh?
You're on
I'm
a
getting the
path
witch
in the
instead?
woods, and at the end of
What
that
the
path is a
hell?
cabin. And in the basement of that cabin...
Oh my god! I'm tired. I want to just get to on.
Like I said, I'm sorry, I've been down here so long, I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name, though. Everyone has a name.
Without hesitation, the wound... Okay. There's no...
You...
The princess pushes away from you, wounded, but still alive.
You've made a...
I think I have to
Thought we
fight
had the
and then
up to
give up.
act. Not. Don't waver now. As you ready your blade, forget about... Though your nerves are seizing with pain, you seize a moment. We can still turn... Are you serious? As what's left of your blood pools around the princess, wounded but still alive, nervously jumps at the blade and kicks it far away from you before retreating into a dark corner of the room. Her shining eyes watch you from the darkness, unblinking and curious as you bleed out. We can only hope the wounds you managed to inflict will be enough to at least delay her escape from this place. If we're very lucky, they'll kill her before she can reach the outside world.
After all this time alone, I thought I'd finally found a friend, but you were just another monster, weren't you?
This is the end, isn't it? Before you can answer, everything goes dark, and you die.
The beast. Oh my god, I finally... Been how
You're on
long
a
so far?
path in the woods,
40 minutes?
and at the
Damn.
end of that path is a... You're here to... It hasn't.
Wait, has this
Or
already
if it
happened?
has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. If he doesn't remember what happened, then something else must have trapped us here.
Ugh.
You're not trapped here. Nobody's forcing you to do anything, though the only sensible thing for you to do right now is march up to that cabin and slay the princess. A warning before you go any further. She will lie. Does a cat lie to a cornered mouse when it plays with its freedom? Or is it just acting out its nature? I don't see why that matters. A lie's a lie, and if anything, she's the one who's cornered. She could have gotten out of there whenever she wanted to. We should trust nothing that she tells us, only what we hear and smell. That's a very roundabout way of saying that you should listen to me and take this seriously. Maybe.
Man, I'm just so sleepy today.
The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The only furniture of note is a termite-eaten table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
You didn't
That's
say anything
because
about the
there
mirror
isn't
on
a
the wall.
mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. What a strange thing to lie about. Maybe he doesn't see it. Much like he hasn't seen what's already happened. You walk up to the wall next. This really is. You reach forward and rub your hand, but it was there a second ago, and now it's gone. You take the blade from the table. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what's left of an old wooden staircase. It's still sturdy enough that you can make your way down in one piece, though you'll have to be mindful of holes. The air seeping up from below is oddly warm and wet, as if you're descending into a jungle. She growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost feral, impatient, or maybe eager. You carefully make your way down the stairs. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving the illusion that the room might stretch on forever. You brush against the wide leaves of plants that surround you on all sides, seemingly the only living things that occupy this strange underground wilderness. The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. She could be anywhere. You see only a flash of the princess before she scurries away into the underbrush, dragging her heavy chain behind her. Remember, she's just a princess. She is certainly not just a princess. You're not helping. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she does. Her shining eyes appear between the leaves, staring hungrily at you from the darkness.
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the stairs, fledgling. You're right to be terrified. I'm so much more than you. And a little splinter clutched in trembling hands won't save you from me.
A shiver rushes up your spine and pulls you upright. The air's shifting. She's getting ready to pounce. Move, now.
I'm hearing noises, but I can't tell if it's like the TV outside or what. Someone go check it real quick. Turns out it was nothing, but gave me a chance to make some popcorn. So, that's pretty cool. So I want to listen to this dude the whole time. Move.
You lunge to the side, picking a direction on instinct. As you land, you're buffeted by a gust of air, disturbed by the sudden motion of a massive body. The princess. In an instant, she's pounced on the spot where you would have been, her chains rattling across the floor behind her. Before you can blink, she's gone, vanishing once more into the shadows. But you still feel her gaze on you.
You're faster than you were before, but you're still meek, reactive, prey.
You whirl around to find her, and your gaze meets hers, a pair of shining eyes peering out at you from just beyond the basement stairs. So she's cut off our escape. Shit. What do we do?
We don't have to kill each other. What if I helped you? What if we left together? If you could get out of here on your own, wouldn't you have
You
already
cannot
left?
reason your way out of this, fledgling. There's no compromise with what I am.
At least she's upfront about her intentions.
I was sent to kill you because you're a threat to the world. I'm starting to believe that's true.
Oh, for the love of... You've given up the game. Great. All that will do is hasten her victory.
So many useless thoughts run through your head. Thinking, thinking, thinking. You'll never hurt me if you keep thinking.
She's coiling for another strike. Be somewhere else. We're on the back foot. The back foot keeps us nimble, keeps us alive. It doesn't matter if it keeps us alive if it eventually kills us. We need to take back the momentum. We need to do something.
Nope, I agree with
Jungle, barely moving out of the way before the princess surges past you with a speed that makes her practically unseen.
What do you
I want
want?
to swallow you whole, and I will get what I want. You have no exit. You have no hope. You live and die by my whims, and my whims alone.
Don't ask her what she wants, just slay her. Is that all the advice you have? We don't even know what she looks like. Some specifics would be very helpful. She's just a princess. Don't overthink it. She is clearly not.
But why? Why
does
do you want to
anything
kill me?
kill anything else? She needs to.
I didn't say I wanted to kill you.
It sounds like she wants to do something even worse. What she wants only matters if she wins, and you're not going to let that happen. A tickling sensation rises at the base of your neck.
Oh,
Flee. We
Hold on.
can't keep doing this.
yes we can.
You're a little slower this time. Or maybe she's a little faster. You avoid her slavering jaws, but she manages to graze you, her titanic momentum skinning you along your side. It's like being sideswiped by sandpaper. How is she that fast?
You're bleeding now.
You instinctively touch your side, testing her claim. It's wet and stings from the gentle touch of your fingertips. A costly mistake. We can't make it again. We will make it again unless something changes. We have to break the pattern. We need more time. She's cutting off our escape.
Our game is nearing its end.
You're
And
deflecting.
you bear your weakness to the world.
She's more tense this time. She means this next blow to be the last. The mere thought of moving again makes your bloodied side ache. We're exhausted. We're bleeding. We're still alive. We owe it to ourselves to move.
Says wait for her to strike and hit her back, but I'm worried that she'll actually get me. So I'm gonna do it again.
Once again, you narrowly avoid the full force of the impact, and once again you are too slow to come away unscathed. You're starting to get tired. You're making mistakes. This isn't working. We have to do something. We have to figure out a plan. Don't plan ahead. act on them now. All that matters is that we stay alive. We're trying, but we can't keep this up much longer. We have to. We keep up or we die.
You're getting slow.
She seizes the opportunity, lunging once again from the darkness, fangs bared and claws flashing. She attacks over and over and over, and each time she leaves with a little piece of you. Too tired to think, but we have to think. We have to move. It's too late. Before you get the chance to react, it's over. She makes her last foray from the dark corners of the room, unhinging her dripping maw, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. You do your best to dive out of the way, and you partially succeed. Partially? Yes, the princess fails to swallow you whole. She only swallows your lower body. That's just as bad. That's worse, even. It's death either way. At least this will be a faster end. You look down to see that the dirt between you is strewn with your intestines, trailing all the way up and disappearing behind her blood-stained teeth. Your legs are nowhere to be seen. You start to go into shock. The princess, bloody saliva dripping from her lips, idly gnaws on what's left of you as you rapidly fade away.
I didn't mean to do that. I still need to devour you, and it doesn't count if you're dead.
We're not dead, we're... But you don't have time to protest her premature observation of your death, because everything goes dark, and you die.
Okay.
You're on a path in the That didn't work. We're going in with a plan this time. We're not getting stuck in another loop, just acting on instinct. We're stuck in a big enough loop as it is.
Thank you, Skeptic.
Instinct was keeping us alive.
Well,
until it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we supposed to do? Great, so you've been here before. That doesn't bode well. You're not supposed to have been here before. This is supposed to be one and done. So you know more than you're letting on. Yeah, what he said. Of course I do, but believe me, it's in your best interests. The more you know about the princess, the more difficult your task will be. Why is that? Having me explain why would defeat the whole purpose. There are simply some things I'm not allowed to tell you. It's a hard rule. And whose rule is it? Who's telling you to boss us around? We've died twice already, and if you want us to stay alive this time, it's in your best interests to give us an edge. It's my rule, and this conversation is over.
Oh, cool. Okay, what's
She
the plan?
spent as much time as she could in the shadows. So we're gonna draw her out. But she's fast. And she's clever. We're clever too. So this time we're not gonna let her cut off our escape. We're gonna lead her to the stairs ourselves. It'll be a lot easier to deal with her once we can actually see what she is. But you already know what she is. She's a princess. Yeah, right. A princess we couldn't see, and one that had big, sharp teeth, too. How about you stick to describing things and we'll stick to doing our job? Sharp teeth.
Path is different than it was before.
You're right. This is different, isn't it? I'm starting to lose track of things myself. Ground is ground. It doesn't matter what shape it takes. We'll adapt. If it looks different, that's because the situation has started to spiral out of everyone's control. So please, disavow yourself of the notion that you can just come back here and fix this place if you manage to make a mess before that line of thinking leaves you yet another world in ruin. Though, as evidenced by you dying twice, it's safe to assume the fates of the worlds you've left behind don't concern you very much. Consider this your last opportunity to make things right, for you and for the rest of existence, but especially for you. Clearly we're not getting anything out of him.
I'm just wondering. I want answers. What is going on here? What do you know that you're not telling me?
Like I said, I've told you as much as I can without putting you at a disadvantage. If anything, I've told you too much. You've already died by her hands twice. You shouldn't need much in the way of motivation.
What if we just leave? What happens then?
Doesn't seem like she can escape on her own. Maybe not quickly, but it's inevitable that cabin won't last forever. And she will? Forget I said anything. Just treat this with the urgency it deserves.
Now, what happens next? It seems like all our answers are in the cabin. Let's see what this through.
You make your way down to the cabin. Your fated confrontation awaits. You know what to do. Alright, we've been over the plan. Goad her out of the shadows. Make her show herself. And what if she doesn't want to be seen? We'll figure out a way to make it happen. And if that doesn't make her any easier to fight? It will. It's always easier to fight what you can see, no matter how big or toothy she might be. The interior is dark and overgrown. Vines and brush obscure so much of the place that, had you not seen the exterior, you might not have noticed this was a cabin at all. The only furniture of note, if you could call it that, is a knotted stump, a pristine blade embedded in its exposed rings. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. Of course that damn mirror's back, and of course he's not saying anything about it. Why is it following us? What are you talking about? There is no mirror. It's just the stump and a narrow tunnel that leads to the basement. He isn't tricking us. Can you feel the wind? It's telling us there's a hole in that wall. Our eyes deceive us.
Then
either way, we need to investigate. Might as well get started.
take the blade.
Yes, take the steel claw. You pull the blade from the stump, gripping it tight. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Odds are we'll need it. Thanks for not putting us in a bad spot.
Approach the mirror.
You step forward, approaching the small hole that leads to the basement, hesitating before you enter the princess's lair. Haven't you been paying attention? We're not hesitating. This supposed hole is blocked by that old mirror. That mirror isn't part of this place. It's seeped through from somewhere else. It, if there even is an it, is a hallucination. Like you said, you've been here twice before. Your mind was bound to start playing tricks on you eventually. It went away after we reached out to it last time. Might as well try wiping it clean again. What's the harm?
Wipe the mirror clean.
You reach forward and wave your hand over the open hole leading to the basement. See? Nothing. Tricks of the eye. No one sense can be trusted on its own. You step forward into the darkness. If there were once stairs leading into the basement, there is nothing left to attest to their existence now. There is only a long tunnel of packed earth, growing more narrow as you descend. It smells of mold and decay. The damp walls leave streaks of dirt along your body as you're forced to hunch, then finally squat down on all fours in order to continue. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. As you crawl forward on hands and knees, you're met only with the sounds of ambient earth. No voice slinks confidently up the stairs, no entity threatens violence or pleads for safety. Stay quiet. Don't give her a sound. You say nothing, maintaining the silence as you carefully make your way down into the basement. The basement is dark and cavernous, a gaping maw threatening to swallow you whole. There is no light here, save for what little starlight has managed to filter down the tunnel. And though you can't see the vastness of the space, you can feel it. You're exposed.
Stay on your toes. We take a step into the shadows, and as soon as she moves, we jump back, make her follow. From there, we trap her in the tunnel, draw her out of the cabin, whatever it takes to get her out of her element. Then we're safe.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement.
That's right. Keep steady. Don't let your nerves get the better of you.
There, she's about to strike. With the near silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. But you've already started your swift escape.
That's stage one. Now stay focused.
You dive into the tunnel and begin scrambling up towards the cabin. You hear her behind you, claws raking at the dirt, chains rattling, then snapping, breaths hot and heavy with the effort of the ascent. But the sounds are coming slower now, the breaths pained and stuttering. You no longer sense frantic motion behind you in the tunnel. You risk a glance. She is a broad and sickly creature, her withered and emaciated flesh clinging to bones too large to fit in the narrow space. She managed to squirm her way into the tunnel in pursuit, but now she's stuck, incapable of either moving towards you or returning to the open darkness of the basement below. So that's what she's become. She wasn't like this when we started, was she?
No, she wasn't.
Looking at her makes me feel sad.
Yeah, now that we can see her, she doesn't feel like much of a threat at all.
She paws futilely at the air between you, but her shoulders are pinned in the narrow confines of the opening. She has no hope of reaching you. When she realizes this, her arm goes limp, flopping to the dirt floor of the tunnel.
Oh, that looks like my
Her
arm.
eyes fall from yours, defeated. Her eyes look up at yours, wide, pleading. Come back, you can imagine them saying. Don't leave me here. But you shouldn't listen to the sad eyes of a vanquished enemy. She wants nothing more than to change places with you. If you want us to ignore her, then why would you tell us any of that wide, pleasing eyes begging for mercy business to begin with? All it does is make us feel conflicted. I'm merely describing things as they are. It's not my fault that her eyes had something to say, even if that something was a ploy, which, if I might stress, I pointed out to you. What should we do about her anyway? Can she still end the world like this? She hurts. We should help.
Now let's think for a second. Let's reevaluate. Should we help her?
Well, I do feel bad looking at her.
There's no way to get close without being in reach of those claws. We've come this far, but can we trust a creature that until a few short moments ago fully intended to eat us?
What an excellent question with an equally excellent answer. No, you should not help her. She's clearly just waiting for you to drop your guard. And beyond that, you do well to remember that she poses a threat to reality itself. You already have a weapon, and she's as vulnerable as she's ever going to be. How about you use it?
This is quite the conundrum. I want to be a dumbass and approach her.
The princess's eyes go wide as the blade tumbles from your hand. You're going to get yourself killed.
What are you doing? We could all just turn around and be done. What's your game?
You and I both know there's no game. He's made a bad choice.
As you draw near, she readies her claws, raising them to strike. Don't flinch. Show her our resolve. You reach forward, offering the princess your hand. How ridiculous. She was about to kill you. Do you really think getting stuck in a tunnel for less than a minute has fundamentally changed her?
Yes, she's a victim of her own nature, just like we are.
If all she wanted was to kill us, she'd have kept trying. But she's hesitating, isn't she? Yes, she is. Her eyes shift from faux ferocity to confusion to a gentle sadness. She lowers her claw and places it in your hand. Ugh. Do you think we can pull her out of there?
We have to try. It's a bad death being stuck in place.
And what if it doesn't work? What if we can't trust her? We have to trust someone else eventually. It's either him or her, and I know you don't trust him. I don't even trust the rest of you, but that doesn't mean we have to go around pulling bloodthirsty monsters out of perfectly good traps. But we haven't seen what happens if we help her. Doesn't that mean it's worth exploring?
Exactly, my friend.
I can't argue with that. Alright, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll finally get some answers.
Pull her free!
You tug, but the princess remains stuck. What a shame that the bones of her massive form are too large to fit through the narrow tunnel. Keep pulling. All he has are empty words. He can't undermine us if we don't listen. You are all infuriating to work with. But fine, you continue to pull on the princess's arm and she starts to budge. She pushes with her back legs, clawing at the earth, a burst of strength aiding your efforts. The dirt and stone start to crumble around her. That's the spirit. Keep going. Yes, quickly, before the whole tunnel comes down on top of us. Yes, wouldn't that be an interesting development? What if the very nature of this tunnel was such that you were incapable of leaving safely with the princess? How devious. Does it collapse? Yes, it does. As you pull the princess free, the tunnel around you does exactly what you thought it might do. It falls apart.
Wow.
Trapped. No, we have to get out. We have to get out.
It's too late to scramble for freedom now, little voice. You didn't think just pulling her out of there would be consequence-free, did you? Well, the ceiling collapses, heavy stones tumbling down on top of you and the princess, and I don't believe it. Let me guess. Everything goes dark, and we die. No, not yet. You open your eyes to see the princess, her body stretched over yours, her face wincing as she shields you from the heavy rocks and debris. There is space enough for you to move, at least for now. I'll be damned. So there's more to her after all.
The pack is always stronger than the lone hunter. We save her, she saves us. She understands.
Well, you can't keep saving each other forever. Her arms are already starting to give out, and there's a whole mountain of earth on top of her, just waiting to bury you both.
We can always dig. Both of us.
Yes.
It beats suffocating to death down here in the dark. Then let's do it.
Dig. Dig.
You and the princess dig through the loose earth of the collapsed tunnel together. How sweet. But it seems the harder you try to claw your way forward, the denser the path becomes.
Fuck
All
you.
of this effort, and for what? A chance to end the world? I hope you fail.
His words are nothing. Pay attention to what you feel and see.
Hmm?
It doesn't matter if you ignore me, because I'm just telling you what's happening, and what's happening is that you and the princess are getting tired, and your mouths are full of dirt, and it's getting harder to breathe. Harder to breathe is still breathing. Well, either way, the two of you are miserable.
Fuck you.
I don't know. I feel like we're forming a bond with her. Can't be all that bad if we're bonding. She's not capable of bonding. Need I remind you that as soon as she saw you, she tried to eat you? You are not friends, and as soon as you're out, you'll see just how seriously she values your life. If you were so sure we were going to fail, you wouldn't sound so desperate. You're just hot air. There's nothing of substance to you at all, is there? I have plenty of substance. I have feelings and desires. Like my desire to save everyone in the world. I feel that very strongly. Do you smell it? Fresh air.
And this whole time he's not narrating what's going on, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we have fresh air.
With one final massive heave of her body, the princess pushes her way out of the tunnel, leaving you behind in the quickly collapsing space you once shared. Yours was an alliance of convenience, just as I predicted. She has left you to die, buried and alone. You are unbelievably petty. Oh, my pettiness is nothing compared to yours. You were delighting in my suffering and the damnation of the entire world just moments ago. She hasn't left. She's coming back. Don't you hear her? No, she isn't. She's... How many times do you have to be wrong before you stop talking? The princess stares down at you from the opening. Before the tunnel can finish sealing itself, she cranes her elongated neck and gently plucks you from the earth. She carries you across the half-collapsed ruin that was a cabin, carefully setting you down by the door. If there were to be a record, let it show that I tried. I really, really tried. But there won't be a record, will there?
Open the door and step into the wilds.
You open the door, the two of you stepping out into the fresh air and collapsing together onto the dewy grass of the outside world.
And there he goes.
We're outside, and there's ground beneath our feet. I don't see any oblivion. Admit it. There never was an end of the world coming, was there?
He does not reply.
Yeah, we got him there, didn't we? I don't think I've ever seen him stunned into silence before. Can't you feel the hole where he was? He's gone. Fancy that? I'm not sure gone is good.
The princess rests her head close to you. Her eyes stare into yours amid the untextured threads of a world unraveled. Are we free? They ask. I'm cold. I don't want to be cold. Oh, those look kind of sad, the way they folded their arms in. But you don't get the opportunity to respond, nor will you ever. It's time to leave
She's
when he
gone.
returns.
Oh, and there's that mirror again. Why is it here?
It's going to be okay. We always
But
say
it
that
feels so
because we're being
bad.
nice.
You're right.
See you on the other side.
Feels too good to be true.
Silence as you reach for it. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leap, but you need to see what's in it. You've unraveled. Find yourself in the long quiet once again. You're at the cabin.
There's a world beyond the endless walls of the long quiet. I am curious to see what it means for us to know it.
Do you think there are people out there?
It doesn't matter if there are. People are too small for us. You and I are the only things that interest me.
Do you think that anything is real out there? Or do you think that we're real?
We are real. Nothing is an idea that dwells in the absence of something. But nothing cannot exist on its own. And because of that, nothing can't exist.
Oh, it's sad how emaciated she is. Do you have thoughts on this vessel?
This one is consumed by instinct, a dancer moving to the rhythm of the flesh. She will make for a ravenous heart. She wishes me to devour you, to make you a part of myself, but she is only a voice.
But I should get a different...
Do not mourn her, for she is part of something greater.
I ought to get a special line for getting her out of there. Do you know what's going to happen when you awaken?
If I did, I would already be awake.
When you send me back, I'm not alone. There are voices that speak to me. Some of them are me, but one of them is something else. I call him the narrator, and he wants me to kill you. Do you have a narrator? Have the vessels had one?
No, their minds are empty, existent, but constantly shifting into something new. Do you think your narrator lives in the spaces beyond?
He does, and when I find him, you and I are finally going to have answers.
Do not look to one who fears me for your truth. The only answers worth knowing are those we can find within ourselves.
How many vessels do you need?
One. Whatever you bring me next will be enough, and then gravity will pull the others back to me. I will be singular, a final multitude.
If this is the last time, is there anything you would like me to bring you?
These gifts are a conversation, and each one shows me the contours of your heart. The only thing I want to see is what you choose for me when the thread is fully drawn.
I'm ready to go back.
The next time I see you, each of us will finally know what we are. I will be here, waiting for you.
The glass. There you go. So you don't get spooked. I will do this last one before I stream. I'm gonna figure out which one to do.
You're here to
How to
slay
get
her.
it.
If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay, thoughts on that one? I haven't seen an ending where you actually get her out. I've only seen endings where you like fight her and like survive or something, you overcome her and like you get out and it's really messy. Like she's throwing you up and getting taken. So I've never seen that. I don't know if that's a pristine cut ending or what. But it's very cool. Because honestly, I didn't think it was going to work when I was like, well, let me try the Mercy route on it. I didn't know if there was even a possibility for it to work out. But then it just makes me a little bit gypped because I feel like there should have been a special like line or dialogue for describing the ravenous heart Like, I guess maybe her nature wouldn't have been changed just overnight just because I decided to get her out of the tunnel. But saying, like, oh, she wants to eat you. Like, well, what? Come on. After that? After all that bonding we just did? You still want to eat me? Maybe that's the case, or it's just because they didn't think to make a dialogue line because they didn't think people would choose that very often. I think for the next playthrough, I want to give it a nice one. What I think I want to do next one is get the ending where part of it is that you are within the princess's body waiting, and then you see yourself with the other voices. Like, I think I want to do that. That would be really dope. I had a long day today. I worked and I hung out with friends and I had a good time, but I don't have the energy to like finish the game tonight. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll come back to see my last part. And I think maybe after the series I'll just keep trying different endings anyways. But that entirely depends on how I feel. Like, do I need to keep playing the game or should I just watch people play it? But a lot of like watch them get the endings. A lot of the stuff though I haven't seen, the in-between stuff. Like, oh cool, you see the last frame of the one of the endings, but you miss all the stuff building up to it. Like with the previous part with the Wraith. Like, I've never seen the build up between. So I don't know, it might be worth just playing the other routes just to see all the content you kind of miss when people are just doing the endings. Anyways, thanks for sticking around, and I will be back later.